For more latest news from the sports multiverse, please like, share, and subscribe The Bridge and hit the bell icon to never miss a notification.
Good evening, guys. What a day! What a day for Indian sports and Paralympics. We are doing phenomenal. So before we jump straight away to the conversation, let me introduce two lovely ladies out there. Suma Shirur, who is a 2004 Olympic finalist, Arjuna Awardee, and currently coach with Avani Lekhara. Hi, Suma.
Hi, Arshi.
Hi. Moving over to another important name, Deepti Vopaya, who is the executive director of Go Sports Foundation. Hi, Deepti.
Hi. Thank you so much.
So, Deepti, I mean, I'll start with you. Like, out of 54 athletes, the Indian contingent, 21 are from Go Sports.
Yeah.
So,
so actually today is actually set the ball rolling while the events have started from day one. But it's been a long journey, Archie. I mean, while we can talk about the 21 athletes, we currently work with about 45 athletes with disabilities, and this is since 2008, since our inception. So it's been a great journey.
Yeah, let's move over to Suma. So India won 7 medals so far, and today has been crazy. 5 medals in a day, best day in a long time, Suma. And how happy are you with Avani's win? I'm sure you are happy. The entire nation is happy. But how different is it for you, Suma?
So, of course, a great day for the country, and I would say a very satisfying day for me. And so I started working with Avni sometime in 2018, and I took her up not as a para athlete. In my mind, she was always a shooter who was willing to learn, and who was willing to go the extra mile and kind of really learn, grow, and fulfill her ambition. So for me, it was always taking up another shooter. So and these formative years are, it's so beautiful when they come in, when they are like 16, 17, and they are like, they don't know what life has in store, and they have their ambitions, their dreams, and then you see them grow from a young age, and now she's like 19, she's an adult, and you're through the journey, and you see them before, you see them now. So I realize how important it is. The coach's role is not just in technically grooming them. It's also about grooming them for life. It's also about creating a mindset that will help them win in the long run. So I think the biggest job for me was to create that mindset that was that would help her eventually have success at a larger stage. So having closely been with her through the journey, I think today I'm really very, very satisfied. And especially with Avni, with all the challenges that she's had to go through in life, I think it was really well deserving, and I can't say how happy I am today.
Yeah, I'm sure. And you have worked with Olympic athletes as well, and not just Avni. So help our audience understand. Obviously, when they shoot, they are shooters. They don't see themselves as parachuters. So generally, what goes inside the head of a para sports person in general when they are at that level?
I would say that once they are here, they're pretty much at the same level. When this is the first time I'm going to Paralympics, and I was with the Olympic team as well. I think I'm the only coach who's doing both Olympics and Paralympics. And so I thought initially that this would be a very overwhelming experience for me, because I've not been here. But let me tell you, after coming here, okay, the first 2 days I was like, looking at everybody in awe. But after that, I actually forgot that they're para athletes, because they're all so confident. Their body language is no different than an Olympic athlete. So, at the end of the day, I'm like, I've forgotten that they're para athletes, because it's what I notice is not the disability. What I notice is their body language, their confidence, their ambition, their zeal to win. That is what I see. So it's been an eye opener for me, and it's been great. And when I look at yes, when I look at the shooting part of it, I think the shooting part is it's the same for a parachuter and a normal shooter and an able-bodied shooter. The shooting part is the same. The challenges are different. So I would say there is no comparison. So there is really no comparison because the challenges are so different. How can you compare, two shooters who have different challenges altogether? So I think as a coach, for me, the biggest challenge was to fit the concept of an able-bodied shooter into a parachuter, and the shooting remains the same. But what's important is how to fit that shooting into a body that is physically challenged. And for an able-bodied, yeah, the balance is your lower body. That's the base, that's the foundation, that's where you build your balance. That's how you're able to fine tune your position. But with the parachute, especially in Avni's case, she uses a wheelchair. So I think the base is different. So I've had to kind of adapt the normal techniques into a parachute, and I think it's been a challenge. But at the same time, I realized that it's the shooting part remains the same, all the qualities that are required, and Avni has really stood up to all the challenges. And most important thing is that she is ready. So, when you have a shooter who's willing to go the extra mile, who's willing to put in the effort, who's preparing himself, then for us, it's about showing the way. And and she has a unique ability of verbalizing, everything that she feels, she can put it into words. That makes it so much more nicer, easier for me as a coach. And I think I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed this journey with her.
There's so much of composure and peace and happiness on your face, Uma, right, Deepti? Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, absolutely. I know. When I spoke to her earlier during the day, and I'm like, I'm so happy for you, Suma, more than anything else, because we know all the challenges that have happened, to even facilitate this entire thing, and to get the personal coach there, and even because Avni was struggling without a coach, a full-fledged coach, when we had picked her up and she was training a few days somewhere else. And then, it all worked out with Suma. And I think for an athlete like Avani, she wanted it so much. So when she found somebody who understood her, I think it just made that process so much more easier. And Suma is absolutely right. She's so vocal. She's one athlete who says yes and no so easily. And if it's a no, it's a no. Like, you cannot change that no, because she'll have her reasons also for it. So I think it's nice even for coaches and for teams to work with athletes like that, because they're very clear and they're self-motivated, right? And
Yeah,
they're looking more at direction, and they're looking out and looking up to the coach for that information. So I think it's a great partnership when it happens like that.
Absolutely. And Deepti, like to add to that, I think the most important part of our relationship is the trust. Without which I don't think any relationship, it cannot work without trust. And especially in a game like shooting. And today, I think it was a real challenge of the trust that we have, because and like air rifle women 10-meter event is always the first event of either the Olympics or the Paralympics. So it is always, feel a lot more pressure, because that's the event where everyone is like is full of energy to kind of look into it. So definitely she had a lot of pressure, and she wanted to kind of have a good start, because she has a few more events to come. So she knew that having a good start would be very crucial. So she was all a bundle of nerves, and then to get that initial to get that the initial part is always difficult when you come to this level, where there's a lot of fear, and you need to convert that fear into courage. That's the process. That's the time where some people can do it in 2 shots, some people can do it in 5 shots. But with her, yeah, that was the difficult process. And I think normally, for any coach who has an athlete at the Olympic Games, the biggest fear is if the athlete comes out. because then you are responsible. What you're going to say is going to make an effect. So I think that's the biggest nightmare for a coach. And today, today Avni must have called me at least, 8 times into. So, but I think the thing that worked is the trust. When you have your words, when you trust the words that your coach is saying, and then and that's the trust that helped her convert her fear into courage. And once she could do that, I think she was rolling. And the finals was brilliant. She was ready. I think all her fears vanished in the first 20 shots, and then for the final she was ready, and also she had some good finals training, and she was ready, and she kind of beautiful finals. I really enjoyed it. I loved sitting there, and I felt like, oh, I was like so happy to see it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
we
was
all are happy for
special.
Avni, yeah, and for the entire, So, Deepthi, moving over to you. So, we have got 3 medals in Javelin in Paralympics and 1 in Olympics. Neeraj, so like 4 Javelin medals in a span of 1 month. So, should we declare like Javelin throw as our national sports, maybe?
I think the trend has started javelin, but if you look at someone like Devendra, he's done it much 2004, right? That's
Yeah.
when he actually did it, and then 2012, 2016, I saw that happen, live. So that moment I'll never forget, when the national anthem played, and with Devendra's uh, moment. But I think going forward, you're going to see a lot of kids take up javelin, definitely. While it just looks as one throw or 6 throws, the kind of effort that goes into getting your throw right at that moment is, it's been a big learning process for us as well. And especially Sumit today. It's just
Yeah.
been incredible. I mean, 3 world records on every throw. I mean, I've never ever come across, and I don't even know. We have to check the history books. Globally also, has there been an athlete that has in one event broken 3 world records of his own, right? And then got to the next level. So I think any sport, Arshi, our belief is that once there is one champion, they will inspire the younger generation to take it up. And I think shooting is a great example like that. All these champions did so well, and then you saw so many youngsters taking part. Today, if you look at a shooting nationals, probably 8-10 years back, and Suma can correct me if I'm wrong, they had probably 500-600 people. Today they have 3,000 people in a nationals, which goes on for a week, right? And you're talking about nationals, so that's the kind of talent. So I'm sure the next nationals for javelin or any other event, you're going to have a lot of youngsters who are participating. And I think that's how, when you have one role model, you inspire, and then the culture sets in, right? And today you have leadership, you have everyone talking about sport. You're seeing, if I play sport, what all can happen to me. Before, it was never a career opportunity. So I think a lot of things have changed, from Suma's time. Suma also, after getting the highest level in sport, then set up her academy, and she's giving back to sport. So I think everybody has had different journeys, but very far and few people like Suma who've done it. Or where are all the other champions, right? Because they've probably fallen off the radar in different ways. But now a lot of them are going to come back, give back, and I guess that's how the circle of inspiration will continue.
Definitely.
Yeah,
And I
it's also, the base, the kind of base that it's going to create is where, we are going to find more and more talent. It's very important to create that large base, so that, we are going to eventually have, a stronger bench strength. And these are and this is the way we build that sporting culture in the country. And we'll have more and more people who are coming up at a more and more talent that we can sport, and more people coming up at that very high level. So it's a great momentum that is, now set in.
Yeah, and I think the biggest change, which so we, because we are a media company, and we clearly we saw the spike today in our traffic and people getting connected to our platform, and it's so good to see that even common audience, they are appreciating and they are following, and we are getting appreciation messages and emails that it's good to see that someone is covering Paralympics with so much of detailed coverage. So that's really good. And coming back to, yes, we spoke about Avani, and now uh, we have one more week left, right? We have one more week left, and we have a lot of prospective medal winners out there. So, Deepti, honestly, if I can ask you bluntly, that what is
Don't
your
ask me how many
medal
numbers.
prediction?
I didn't do that at Olympics. I'm not doing that at Paralympics. No, I think we're going to have a very good Paralympics. Obviously, the run has already started. If you just look at the athletes who are even participating from tomorrow, whether it's shooting, Avani herself has 3 more events. You have para badminton. You have archery individual events also. There are so many events, and all of them are in the top of their game. They're top 5, top 8 in the world. And if they can produce, and I think that's the challenge, right? And Suma so beautifully said that fear and nervousness to courage, that transition at that time, if you can get it all together at that moment, I'm sure we'll cross double digits for sure. For sure, but it should all come together, and that is why sport is so brutal. I mean, I'm feeling really bad for someone like a Sandeep, because I remember exactly same result at Rio. He finished 4th, but it was quite a large margin. And today, I think it was 37 centimeters he lost out by in Javelin. So it's heartbreaking at the same time. While you're celebrating, where it's also sad for someone who's not made it, but definitely double digits. Suma, over to you for that number. I'm not quoting numbers beyond that.
I also don't want to do that. I'm like so wary after. I don't want to quote numbers. I just want all the athletes to go out there and live that moment, live that moment and get the best out of you. So it's not easy, but it's like doable. We can do it. Just hang in there and don't give up. It's that's the key. So I am looking forward.
And in fact,
just to add,
just
to add to that point, at London 2012, I think we were 6 athletes who went. Then we had 19 athletes who qualified for Rio. We're already triple. We're at 54, right? I think that in itself is such a big win for us as a country. Irrespective of the medals, if we keep increasing the base of qualification, I think Paris is going to be a great metrics for all of us, because all these 3-year, 4-year, 8-year programs will, come to its fruition in Paris, right? So this is like that.
And also considering the fact that we are really not a para-friendly country, I would say, because it's not easy for wheelchair athletes to move around, and this is absolutely nothing, it's not easy. So I think Avani's win in that matter is very, very important, because it's going to change the perception, and you're going to have more and more wheelchair athletes coming out and knowing that, okay, we have another avenue that we can go ahead, and for a country like ours, because see, when you go to Europe, every bus is a wheelchair friendly bus, and you can actually roll on and go to a mall on your own. You can do it just for everything. But in our country, can you do that? No, I don't think so. So with that background, I think this is a movement, and it's very important to get these athletes into the mainstream of society. So I think this is where this sport and Paralympics can really change the perception of our society in general. So it's an important thing for us.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to talk about that. We as a nation, we aren't friendly in every way, like infrastructurally, and even the mindset. The moment we see someone in a wheelchair or with probably an amputated leg or a hand, we the first thing which comes to our mind is pity, right? And why can't be the real head turner is looking forward to them with so much of inspiration, because they are the true heroes at the end of the day. And I believe that from this Paralympics result, this narrative needs to change. That will be the biggest win for me personally. So
I hope so too. I would be looking for that. And the best thing is, coming here, there's so many things that have struck me. And also what I see is that, over here, you have an amputated leg, and you have, and you walk around and you don't cover it with, a full pant, or, they are walking around in shorts. They're just not like that. It's like, it's a normal thing, and they're so proud, and it's such a normal thing, which is something that we also don't see in our country. And I really, really hope that this confidence will be translated in a lot of our, with disabilities. I hope this is going to give them the confidence to come out and not really hide it. It's okay. This is what, this is how it is, but that should not stop us from, from having our own dreams, having our own goals, ambitions, and move ahead in life. So this movement in that aspect is, I think, a very, very important thing for the country.
Yeah, definitely.
In fact, there's a global movement running currently called We the 15. It's a global human rights movement because 15% of the world is people with disabilities. And India ranks on the top 5 countries in the world with the highest number of people with disabilities, and maybe the lowest in terms of actual accessibility and infrastructure. So this movement has to percolate to the society, because in our families and homes, like you rightly said, it starts with pity, and then it is a burden. That person is a burden, right? So they're like, oh my god, how is this person going to plan their whole life, stay their whole life? So you don't even consider that they can have a normal life. So there's so much of that social taboo that we need to change, and that a large part of what we do in our program is really trying to change that narrative. Medal is an outcome, it's one success metrics, but if we can actually change the communities around these, I mean, we have a chance for with the 45 athletes, but with such kind of achievements, it spreads more and more and more. There's Rakesh Kumar, who's the archer. After his accident, he would just sit near a temple and just sit near the stall and just keep sitting there the whole day, because his family is like, anyway, now he can't do anything. And the coach happened to keep passing that road every time and then asked him, why are you sitting here? What are you doing? He's like, no, now I don't have any legs. I didn't even have a wheelchair at that point of time. What are you going to do? So he introduced him to archery. And today he's at the Paralympics, and hopefully things are going to change. And he got married just before coming. I mean, he got married about 8 months back, and nobody ever thought that's going to happen. So I'm saying just social perspectives that are getting changed because of this, because he suddenly become a breadwinner, right? So it's amazing. I mean, some of these stories are incredible, and I think the more media and all of you keep talking about that angle also in through these stories, I'm sure things will change. Someone sitting somewhere, take Avani for example. After her accident, she picked up Abhinav's book, right? And then read it, and then found out about shooting, and then it's like you never know which story could inspire whom, and we don't know these medals how they'll inspire which child in which part of our country. So let's hope Paris has many more new names and many more new stories.
Yeah, the whole movement is definitely catching pace, because I think also in shooting, this is the first time that we have 10 athletes who won a quota, which is first time, and first time you have 10, it's like so that shows that, the
And look at the age group also, Suma. All of them who won, they're so young. I mean,
young. Absolutely. So that's a very encouraging sign. Paris, yes, we have to look out.
So let me get both of you back to a very critical part of the conversation. I have often heard people, comparing that, okay, Olympics to Olympics hai, Paralympics kaun dekhega, right? And somewhere all, three of us on this screen, we are working towards this collective goal of, acceptance and more visibility towards the para sports person and the stories. At the first place, the comparison is not right at the first place, right? Like Olympics. And because, yes, there is a lot of gap in the Olympics coverage and Paralympics, but then somewhere, we have to start that, and we have to cover And it viewership plays such an important part, right? Such an important role. We are right now interacting and we are talking about the stories, and viewership will bring in probably more eyeballs for the sponsors and the corporates who are supporting, and that's such a critical part. So Deepti, if I may have to put it that this way, that one line for our audience who is, they are watching this video, what do you have to say on encouraging them to watch Paralympics and parasports in general?
I think one line that changed my life when I attended a disability conclave was, we are all just currently able-bodied and we don't know when that can change. So if you don't support the person who has a disability, you never know, it could be one of us or a family member, and then you'll struggle to create an ecosystem which is not there. And that changed my life. And if we constantly remember that, if you're born with it, it's different because that's all you know about movement. But a lot of them, I mean, look at someone like a young girl like Avani or whoever, all these people have had terrible accidents. And if you go through what trauma they've gone through, they've lived like you and me, right? So I think that's what it is. So you can't wait for something to change. You have to create the ecosystem and be ready, because we never know what can happen. That's really my one line.
That was incredible. And I think this will get stuck in my head for a long time. Thank you for
It
sharing.
did for me when that girl told me. I still remember that, that conference. But yeah.
Yeah. So we will wrap up this conversation. Suma, all the best for the remaining events for Avani. And
Thank you.
we all
so
are
much.
like hoping from here, sitting out of India. And thank you, ladies, for joining us for this conversation. And again, to all the audience out there, whoever is watching this conversation, you guys play a very, very, very important role. 1,000 people, 10,000 people watching this conversation. Please share this with your friends and family. You never know, someone who will watch this conversation will get inspired to pick up that racket or rifle, right? So let's just be a part of the entire change which we want to see. Slowly, but we'll reach there. Thank you.
Great. And congratulations to you and the entire Bridge team. I think you'll have done a fantastic job, both through the Olympics and Paralympics. And I'm sure a lot of people have learned so much more about sport and different sports because of your coverage. So more power to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Deepti.
Thank you so much.